Alrighty, so welcome to floor one of the deer of the of the stag boss guide. Yeah, so this thing's pretty hard, and I say that because it kind of has the same feel to it as the bird does, where certain floors or certain phases of certain floors are a bit RNG heavy, which is a bit unfortunate. So on floor one of the bird on phase 4, you have to have power strike cards if you actually want to deal good damage to him or whatever, or just some like really heavy hitting cards, and that's basically the big stopper on the bird boss on floor 1. But on the stag, on stage 2, it starts the attribute rotation, which we'll talk about in a minute, and it is quite a bit to deal with, just because on floor 1 stage 2 specifically, he has 1.8 million HP for whatever reason. Like, you would think, oh man, like maybe that sounds like something that you would have to encounter on like floor 2 or 3 even, but floor 1 is ridiculous. Like, it takes so long if you don't play it like right and go for ults and stuff like that pretty much straight out of the gate. So we're gonna try and mess around with it a little bit to here today. I do have this little chart thing that someone made for the JP players, which basically says, here are 10 teams that you can use to fight the bird or the stag boss, deer boss. I'm going to be using, of course, the top one, just because I have all of the units for it already. I've got everything I need. But yeah, all of these are teams that people have confirmed that they can beat all 3 stages with. So if you need a reference sheet, here it is. I don't know if there's like a really good way for me to get this out to you guys or not. I might make a YouTube post about it or something, just to sort of give it to you, just so that way you can have it. So I guess if you really want to try to check on my community tab, I think it is, I'll try to post it on there. So yeah, you can see every single team except for the very bottom one uses Trader Meliodas, and there's a good reason for that, and it's because the basic repeating gimmick for the stag is that there's going to be a couple of stages on each floor. It's going to be phases 2 and 4 from my understanding so far. At least that's the way it is for floors 1 and 2. You're basically going to have to attack in a pattern depending on the type advantage. So basically what will happen is you'll attack with Matrona, and then you'll have to attack with, or because she's a red unit, you'll have to then attack with Escanor because he's a blue unit, and then you'll have to attack with Arthur because he's a green unit. But that actually might not be the correct orientation for that. But actually, I think it's the other way around. You would attack with, I think you would attack going left, whatever the type advantage is. So you'd use Arthur, then Escanor, and then Matrona, I'm pretty sure. But either way, because Melee is a darkness unit, he actually does not start that gimmick. It starts whenever you attack with someone who is HP, speed, or strength. And so because he's dark, he actually doesn't proc the passive that starts that rotation, meaning that you can kind of get away with a couple of attacks with Melee before it starts. But honestly, from my experience so far, it's not so much that you want to attack with Melee, but you want to make sure that you're going in with a couple of ults, because on phase 2 he will actually seal your ultimate moves, and if you're not using ultimates, you do really low damage because he just has so much HP. So floor 1, stage 1, or phase 1 is pretty standard stuff. Nothing too crazy here. I'm basically just going to do the normal things that I would to sort of start getting Meliodas' passive going, so that way I can take a little bit less damage. Definitely throwing up a Matrona taunt, so that way I can make sure that I start to heal a little bit here and there from her taking damage. Obviously, it's a bit RNG on just trying to pull the cards that you need, so that way when you go into phase 2 you're not completely screwed because you don't have you have certain cards. So maybe I end up using a Matrona like attack card in phase 1. If I don't draw another one and it gets to the point to where I need to use a red attack card, I either have to rush an ult and hope I'm not ult sealed, or I have to just like keep wasting cards or breaking the cycle, which will then attack seal me, so that way I can try to pull one for her, which is a pain because the attack seal lasts for 2 turns. So let's keep going here. I don't want to use too many Escanor cards because I definitely want to go into phase 2 with Escanor's ultimate because it's super good. So let's maybe waste some of these cards. I do have an extra stance, which is kind of nice. I can maybe try to pop that before I go into the second phase. I don't want to kill this too fast because I want to make sure that I'm able to get some ults in hand. I would really like to have Arthur and Escanor's ult personally. I think it just works really, really well. You can see he does a lot of damage, and he actually doesn't deal a whole lot of damage to Matrona because well, not because of anything, but he also has a bit of a reduction on our regeneration rate, recovery rate, and lifesteal as well. So it would be really nice to have a healer. I'm assuming, just like the bird boss, it's going to get easier with time. You're going to obviously go, as new banners and stuff like that come out, there will be new characters that come out that are good for this boss specifically. So let's move this, use it. I would assume that's probably going to be really close to killing. Let's go ahead and throw this out so that way we can merge, and let's use this level 2 taunt so that way we can get as much hand space as possible. I think I maybe should have rushed Arthur's ult as well. I don't know how close he is. I didn't pay attention. Yeah, he's 2 away, which isn't it isn't the worst. We still have a card in hand for him, so it's not that bad. So the big thing is, if you want to use melee cards, you got to use them this very first turn. So we can throw this, and then this one will start the cycle. So then we have to use a Matrona attack card into an Arthur card, and then it'll go back to Escanor. So you'll see I hit, nothing crazy happens. That's 150k, and it only does that much damage. Escanor ult does pretty well. It actually did a lot of damage earlier in one of my runs. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it dealt like a ton of damage, and I'm still not really sure why. I'll have to obviously keep messing with him to try to figure it out specifically, but yeah, obviously ults are going to be probably the biggest way to progress this this second phase. So now we need to use an Escanor card. We unfortunately need a Matrona card. It looks like we're going to be drawing an ult, but it doesn't really matter because we can't use ults right now. We're ult sealed for the moment. So I'm going to try to clear as much space out as I can. Maybe we do something like this, and then hope we draw a Matrona attack card. Because if we end up having to like use cards in our hand to clear space, then it's unfortunately going to attack seal us, and it's going to be very hard. So it doesn't look like he's attack sealing or ult sealing, which is really good because we can use this now. So after that, we need to use an Escanor card into an Arthur card into another Matrona card, which we don't have. So I'm going to throw up the taunt so that way we can make sure that she's still taking most of the damage. 189 on that's not awful. Oh, we used the wrong card, so I guess this is a good example. You can see we get attack sealed for 2 turns. Arthur's card gets wasted, and then yeah, we get ultimate sealed, which is going to be a problem. I wonder if it's just like you need to try to get the ult off way later in the game for it to do more damage. Because, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, he doesn't get rid of this one move. He has this one right here. It decreases the hero's damage taken from ultimate moves by 30%. But for some reason, he has 1.8 million damage, or 1.8 million HP. But I did like 700k damage with just 1/2 of Escanor's ult before, which was a bit odd. I'm not really sure how that happened. What's this buff that I have on? Attack related stats increased by... Oh, is that because of the type advantage that I did? right? Maybe? 10% is not a whole lot. Who is that? I can't remember who's doing that. I think that's Arthur, maybe? We're immune on Escanor at the moment. We could potentially throw out more Escanor cards, but we're just going to have to pass a turn. Alright. Depending on if he ult seals us here is going to be whether or not we actually finish this. Let's see. He does. Very unfortunate. So I don't have an Arthur card still, which is very, very unfortunate. I think what we're going to do is throw this, try to get rid of some of these cards in hand. I think I'll just go ahead and get rid of that and then call it, because it's not actually going to get that second card off. We're really close to finishing him, though. That's going to do quite a bit of damage. I really need him to do more damage to Matroma so I can actually heal some back. This gold melee card actually might end up being really good for pushing into the next phase as well. So we can actually do this. I guess we just move some Escanor cards around to try to get closer to his ult. That does not kill. Very close, though. We just need to use one Escanor card. Oh, we don't have a taunt up. Oh boy, this is probably going to be it. He loves attacking Arthur, just saying. Oh, so close. Okay. We're okay for the moment. I think I'm going to get rid of these Arthur cards out of hand. And maybe even this for the moment, because I really need to draw a taunt. Okay, he heals back a little bit. I think I need to put Tarmiel on Arthur, to be honest, to like really make this work better. All right, so we've got a couple of cards that we can use to get Melee's ult. So the big deal with this phase right here is he has I think he has a passive that makes it to where the hero's damage taken from skills during the enemy turn does not exceed 25% of maximum HP, so that's pretty normal as far as the bird goes. Increases lifesteal by 25% when using skills while the hero's HP is less than 50%, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the whole gimmick is he gains a lot of lifesteal back on crits, and his critical rate is a lot higher, I think, on this stage, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not super sure on that. We can't inspect his like further stuff, but let's just throw some of this stuff out, and then maybe we can take these ultimates in to the next phase. Good damage there from Melee. As long as Arthur doesn't die right here. I'm just trying to get floor 1 done, really, more than anything. I would like to try and move on to floor 2, but ooh, this is going to be a really close one. I mean, I still might be able to finish this without Arthur, but it's going to be really hard, like really tough. Don't kill. All right, we got a lot of damage reduction going at the moment, so that's good. Let's just go for these, and then we'll try to use the ults to finish him off in the next phase. Okay, so we kill him there, put on a taunt. Obviously, you can see, I mean, obviously it'll get a little bit easier and better as as everything goes along, and I'll get more used to this stage and hopefully figure out a better strategy, or maybe it'll just be heavily RNG dependent, which would be pretty awful. But this stage is not nearly as bad. He does do the whole like cycle rotation thing, but you can see his HP is 600,000, which is abysmal compared to 1.8 mil. So we're gonna use Melee first, so that we don't start the cycle. Then we're going to use these two, because that should be correct in the cycle. So we do good damage there, good damage here into this, and then I guess it doesn't really matter if we broke the cycle or not, which We didn't. We did the cycle correctly, but we kill. So, very good. So, you can see, it's still really, really tough. That's floor 1 done. I actually got one of these, which is cool. The Sublimity of Valkyries. And then, you know, these are for Goddess Relics as well. And you get a really low amount of them. I feel like for the other boss, like, you got so many of these. Like, you got, like, 10 of these every drop or whatever. Up to, like, 15 maybe. And then you also drop these from this as well, which is kind of nice because you can actually farm these now. Kinda. You can't farm the other ones, though. I think the orange triangles are not farmable, if I'm not mistaken. But either way. Yeah, it's a hard fight. It really is. Just like the bird, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. I definitely recommend for the next little bit, if you're skeptical or you don't think that you're going to be able to like get the gimmick and everything like that like right away. I unfortunately have already locked this in for the week, so I'm just going to keep trying throughout the week to see how far I can get in it. But for regular players and stuff like that, I would definitely recommend locking in on the bird maybe this week, and just, you know, after you beat it or get as far as you can with it, move over and just try the stag boss as much as you can, so that way you can get used to the mechanics and the gimmicks and stuff like that, so that way whenever you feel comfortable with it, then you can lock it in and start unlocking the rewards for it. Because at the moment, I mean, the only relic you can even get from this is Simon's relic and Goddess Liz's relic at the moment. So unless you're just really wanting it for Goddess Liz, I don't know. Which, I mean, obviously you can farm up this stuff and just hold on to it for future goddesses, but I don't know. Obviously there's just a lot going on, so I don't know. There it is. That's floor 1 done. Probably not the smoothest, easiest guide you've ever seen, but there's a bit going on with it. I enjoy sort of messing around with it myself. I did end up looking up a guide to see some stuff about floor 2, but I just wanted to have a little bit of fun with it since it was brand new, and I didn't want to like try to rush anything out until I felt comfortable beating the floor first before making a guide on it, because I feel like if I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm a hands-on learner with this kind of stuff, so just reading the passive and stuff like that doesn't do a whole lot for me specifically. Like I have to experience what the phase like actually does to me, and like why I'm making a mistake for it to actually resonate with me. So definitely, if you're like that, try it out, do a couple of runs. You know, it definitely costs a lot of stamina to run these sometimes, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast. And yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe if you have not already. I will try to make a floor 2 guide whenever I get comfortable enough with it to where I can beat it consistently. And yeah, I guess that'll pretty much be it. I'll see you guys then. So thanks for watching. Bye.